Well, my last hatch of babies went into this hutch at about 2 weeks old. They're now going on about, I guess it's about 4 weeks old, somewhere around in there. And they're getting a little bit bigger and the hutch is starting to get a little bit crowded. So I think it's time to go ahead and move them off of this hutch into my other hutch over there because it's empty right now. Give a little bit more room for the adults in here. Plus, it's a good chance for me to move them before they get so big I can't tell them apart from the older hens or the older roosters. I want to keep them separate so these guys can become my future breeders. So it's a good time to go ahead and do that, but I got to get the other hutch all prepared. It's been sitting empty for a while. There's no sand in the sandbox. Get the feeders filled up. It's not too much work, but I got to get that done before I can do anything else. All right, here we are at the other hutch. Like I said, it's empty. There's nothing in there. Let's see what it looks like inside. Yeah, that's not too bad. Got a few cobwebs, a few spider webs in here. That won't bother the birds. It'll be fine. Clear it out though, nonetheless. Some of that off there anyway. I'm gonna go get my sand. We'll fill this sandbox up and then we'll be ready. Well, I got feeders in there already. I just got to put some food in them, so that's really all I gotta do is throw some sand in the sandbox, put some feed in the feeders, make sure the water cups are working. I should do that before I put birds in here because it's way easier to do. Make sure they're a little dirty, clean them out a little bit. Spider webs on everything. Okay, we're good to go. All right, let me go get my sand. We'll get this sandbox filled up. All right, got my sand. I'm getting too old to be hauling 50-pound bags of sand on my shoulder. Maybe not, maybe I'm getting too out of shape. So putting sand in here is a pretty easy job. People often ask, what kind of sand do you use? And play sand. I'm just using play sand. It doesn't really matter. Any of the sand's fine for them. It's not going to make a difference. This was slightly more expensive. They had another kind of sand there that was, I don't know, this was like $5.15 or something like that. They had another bag of sand there that was like $4 something. Wasn't quite as expensive. It was like $4.80. So it's like maybe 20 cents cheaper. So not a whole lot cheaper, but a little bit. And the reason I got this one instead, I went ahead and splurged. Like I said, it wasn't that much money difference. This says it's been washed. I don't know where it is on here. Yeah, graded and washed sand for use in sandboxes, gardens, pet areas, ice and snow traction. So I figured that's got to be just maybe a little better than the other one, but it doesn't really make that big of a difference which one you use. You can use pretty much any kind of sand you want. If you live near a beach where you can get sand for free and go collect it if you want to. You might, if I was doing that, I might put it out on a baking sheet, throw it in the oven and bake it for 250 degrees or so for 15-20 minutes, let it cool off, just to make sure you kill any kind of pathogens or anything that may be harboring in the sand. But other than that, I wouldn't worry about it too much. So all right, let's get the feeders filled up. These feeders have seen better days for sure. They're falling apart, but they'll work. It's kind of, they're flimsy anyway, but they'll work. This one here, the lid, half gone, but it'll work. So I get some more made. These will be fine. All right, let me get the feed. And I got more eggs that went into lockdown today, no, yesterday actually, so they should be hatching out tomorrow, the next day. And there's about 20 or so. I should get about 20 or so birds out of that if I have a decent hatch. I don't remember how many eggs I said exactly, 25 or so. So I'm figuring, there'll be a couple of them that don't hatch. So I needed to, make some more room. And I always like to when the baby birds get ready to go out of the brooder into the outside hutches. Hang on, my dog's carrying on. Max, come, come. Here, here, come. Now Max was barking at the neighbors. He was back there in the back and the neighbors were out there, never out. He didn't know him, so he's barking at him, carrying on. Had him a little freaked out, but we got him under control. So, where was I with this? I always like to take the babies when they're ready to go out of the brooder box into the outside hutches. All right, get over here. Come on. Come on, stay over here. All right, one more time. Let's try that again. Max, come. I gotta make sure he stays over here so he doesn't get over there. All right, I think I got him under control for a minute here. So, what was I saying? Oh, always like to take the baby birds when it's time to move out of the brooder into the outside hutches and move in with some adult birds or some older birds that have been in there for a while. Just because I don't have to worry about teaching them where the food is, where the water is. They'll just watch the other birds and figure it out and learn how to use those water cups by watching the other birds. So it makes it a lot easier. All right, let me get this feeder filled up and I'll start moving birds in. You'll get to see the hatch. All right, let's see if we can catch some birds. Hopefully the wind noise is not too bad. It's a pretty windy day out. We finally got some rain. It wasn't enough, but we did get some rain and now the wind's just sticking around. It's still hot out. But it could be a lot worse. Let's see if I can catch some baby birds now. All right. There's one. Get back, Max. There's one. Get back. Max, go on. Well, I got a couple of them there. Stay back. Now it's that typical game of back and forth till I catch them all. Let's see. You are a young bird, aren't you? Yeah, you are a young bird. Some of them it's kind of hard to tell. Max, leave it, buddy. Leave it. Go on. I got two of them. I got to figure out how to get the thing open. Go on. Go on. I think what I'll do, I'll throw these guys in, empty this out, come back. Alright, round two. Let's start on this side this time. Well, they all went over the other side. Best laid plans, right? Max, leave it, buddy. Hey, go on. Leave it. My dog is super interested in him right now. He's flopping around making all kinds of noise. No, leave it. Go. 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 Go on. Go. Leave it. Let's see what we got. Oh, there's... I can't tell if that's an older one or not. I think that's an older one. Okay, move. Move. Oh, this is back and forth. Should probably put something up to block them, but the problem is I don't want them all over here right now at the moment. There's so many birds in here, it's easy to lose track of one. There we go. There we go. Get back. Get back. I think you're an older rooster. Move. Hey, leave it alone. Max, go on. No, no. My dog is being a brat today. Here, let's go. Yeah, he's giving me problems today. Not as easy to control as normal, so put him up. All right, let's see what else we can find here. Those look like all older birds in there. Maybe that one. No, I think that's an older bird. That's a young one right there. There's another couple. I ain't got the majority of them, but I don't know that I got them all. Let's see that one back there. That's a younger one back there too. Let's grab him. Her. I think that's him. Gotcha. Looks like one more. There we go. Gotcha. I think I got the majority, if not all of them now. Let's take a look. Nope, there's another one. Yep, chirp, chirp. All right. That looks like it. I may have missed one. I think I got them all. Let me go get these put up. We'll take you over and have a look. Well, all the birds in their new hutch. You can take a look in there and see kind of what they look like. These guys are only right about 4 weeks old, so they're growing pretty good, looking good. And these will be my future breeders. Some of them, I'm not going to keep them all as breeders because I don't need that many breeders. These are probably only about half of them. We got the other half, I think, on the other side. You can see over there, can't you? Let's open this up and see what we got. Yeah, the other half over here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. 23 is what I had, I guess. I don't remember the exact number, but looks like 23 out of my last hatch. I had a pretty good hatch. I think I only set 26 eggs, had 20, well, maybe I set 27. I had like 4 or 5 eggs that didn't hatch, and then I lost one bird once I moved him out to the hutches. He was the runt of the group. When I moved him out they were about 2 weeks old when I moved him out to the outside hutch, and I lost one bird there. So I ended up with 23 basically out of that hatch. So pretty good hatch. Birds are all situated. They've already found the water. They're already drinking. They'll have no problems finding the food. So that's it. It's pretty easy, and again, that's one of the reasons I really like moving younger birds out with older birds, because you don't have to worry about them finding water. The younger birds or the older birds will teach them. They'll just watch the older birds and figure it out. I'm already starting to hear some crowing out of these guys at 4 or 5 weeks old, I guess. Maybe they're 5 at this point, but they're not very old. Let's see, I moved them out at 2 weeks. I think they're only 4 weeks old and already starting to hear, thought I heard a crow. Maybe I got an older rooster in here on accident. Maybe it was one of the smaller roosters from the other batch. But either way, maybe that was the other hutch that I heard crowing. I don't know. I don't think they're crowing yet at 4 weeks old. That'd be pretty early. But all right, that's really it. That's all there is to moving these guys over. New hutch is good to go. So then what'll happen now is I've got the next batch of eggs in the incubator that should start hatching in the next day or two. They'll go into the brooder box for about 2 weeks. You know, once they hit the brooder box, then I'll start collecting eggs again. Actually, I'll probably wait till next week because I got QuailCon this weekend. So I'm going to be going to QuailCon in Ohio this weekend. When the birds are young, my wife is not going to be able to go with me, so she'll be at home taking care of the birds for me. When those guys, anyway, I'll start collecting eggs usually when those guys hit the brooder box. I start collecting eggs again for a week. Then I put them in the incubator. I got 14 days, well, 17 days roughly before they start hatching out. By that time, the brooder box is 2 weeks old, moved out to the outside hutches. I mean, it just works out as a pretty good cycle that you can go through, and I can just keep rotating through. That gives me a little bit of time, usually between hatches, to kind of get the brooder box all cleaned out and sterilized. I cleaned it a couple of times during while they're growing. While they're in the brooder box, I clean it out like once or twice usually because, like I said, at 2 weeks old they're going out. It's summertime right now. The temperatures are plenty high. The nighttime temperatures aren't getting down below mid-60s. So at 2 weeks old they can handle that once they're fully feathered out. And that's kind of the process, that's the momentum I keep up going pretty much during the summertime. Now when wintertime hits or fall, it starts getting a little bit cooler. They're going to stay in the brooder box a little bit longer, and I usually stop incubating, you know, somewhere around mid-October, October-ish, and then just give them a break until spring or summer. So anyway, I don't know if this video was helpful at all. I didn't really have a specific topic planned out. Just thought I'd show you guys kind of just the normal upkeep I do with the quail. I do need to clean out this sandbox over here because it's been several months since I cleaned it out. Let's go take a look at it and see how it is. Get this opened up. There may be a younger bird I missed right there, but oh well, they can stay in here. So yeah, it's actually not looking too bad. The way I clean this sandbox out, if you haven't seen this, I've got a little screen right here, and I just scoop the sand up, shake it down, sift the sand back out. I usually block these guys off to the other side so they're not flapping around, and what I'm left with is just the droppings. That's it. So I mean, it doesn't take very long. I can do this whole sandbox in about 20 minutes or so. And just tip the droppings out, and I'm left with clean sand basically. And then I'll actually take all the sand out of here and then replace it once a year, maybe once a year and a half. You know, not very often, just occasionally. When it starts looking excessively dusty or something, that's when I do it. So this is super easy though. Just sift all the sand out, and what I'm left with is clean sand. And I don't know how well you can see that, but that's it. I mean, that's clean sand. So it works pretty well. Usually what I do is I keep a bucket over here and I dump the droppings in the bucket, take them back to the compost pile, but I haven't cleaned out under the hutch all summer long. The black soldier flies are doing a decent enough job. They're not as many as I usually get. Everything's a little off this year for some reason, but they're still doing a pretty decent job of keeping things under the hutch under control. So that's it. I mean, that's cleaning up the sandbox, really. I'll get in here and do a little bit more thorough cleaning later, because that's not completely clean. But I've got a couple eggs in here. I'll pick them up later too. Anyway, I'm going to shut this video down here, guys. Thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Like I said, didn't have necessarily a specific topic planned out, but just thought I'd show you kind of how I move the quail around, kind of my breeding cycle for the summertime. You can get a lot of birds produced. Now I don't have a ton of breeders here. I'm only getting about 6 eggs a day out of these birds. So course of a week I'm only collecting about 30 to 35 eggs to incubate. So if you had more breeders, then you could get tons of birds out of these. I mean, you're looking at, you know, I got 20 birds over there that'll be ready to process in 3 weeks. If I were to process them, I'm probably going to process these guys and let those guys become my new breeders. But you get the point, is that in 3 to 4 weeks from now, I'd have 23 birds over there ready to process, and then just 2 weeks right behind them, another 25 or so ready to process. And if you got more breeders than that, if you keep your breeder population up in the 20s where you're getting 10 or 20 eggs a day, you know, that just doubles or triples the amount of birds that you can produce. Anyway, hopefully you enjoyed the video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and hopefully we see a lot of you guys at QuailCon this next coming weekend.
As always, God bless.